What's going on, people? It's your boy Clive Belvin. On today's episode of The Weigh-In, we are going to be talking about Manny Pacquiao's knockout victory against Lucas Matthysse and an upcoming fight between Josie Parker and Dilian Whyte. With me today, boys, give us a shout out.
Steve in the house.
Ray in the building.
It may be the World Cup final today, but this podcast is all boxing, lads.
We don't talk about the World Cup.
It's coming France.
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon it is.
Wimbledon it is. Yeah.
But listen, Manny fucking Pacquiao, mate, last week. So yeah, knockout victory for Manny as he dominated Matthysse. It gives a 39-year-old his 60th win of his career as he claimed a WBA welterweight regular title. So yeah, the Pac-Man boxing story is not over just yet. What's next for him?
So I watched the fight. He looked very strong. So he's built up some muscle, and he looks physically strong, and he looked quite powerful. His feet, however, stuck in the mud, as my friend Connor would say.
Come on.
Stuck in the mud division. I've got to say, his feet were slow. Stuck to
39.
Stuck to the yeah, exactly. But you know, at the end of the day, if you're going to be comparing him to the big boys in the division,
yeah,
those feet, Pacquiao's feet were a big part of his game before.
Yeah,
bouncing around in and out. No, they're stuck in the mud. It's done. And then, like, when older fighters start sort of building up their strength and trying to build that power, they're in the Rocky 6 stage of their career. You see Rocky 6 where Rocky Balboa, he knew he couldn't compete on that speed level against Tava. There was no way. So he had to go for speed and strength. And like, he was 50 years old at the time, and that was his last fight. He did well, you know, and it could be like for Pacquiao. This was the last time he'll look good because he focused on strength and power, and Matthysse was a good opponent for him. Yeah. However, you put him in with Errol, Spence, what happens? You put him in with Thurman, what happens? I still would like to see the Khan fight. If we get him over here for the Khan fight, I'd like to.
I think
because like with that power and, you know, Khan's poppadom chin, we can...
Things I've never seen Matthysse dominated like that. He got dropped 3 rounds. Third round, the 5th, and the 7th. Those hand combinations are fucking something else, weren't they?
They were nice. So his hands did look, as I said, his hands did look good, and his upper body strength looked good. He looked strong, so he was coming on the front foot, and he was applying the pressure. However, I am just worried about his feet, and also, like when Matthysse was throwing shots back, he was getting hit. So like the head movement was a bit, like, he didn't look particularly sharp.
It's non-existent.
Yeah, he wasn't particularly sharp, but he was very strong and very fast, and his hands were fast. So you never know. He's still got something to give.
I don't. My opinion is this. Obviously, I'm not his accountant, but we all know he's had financial troubles. The motivation to fight just seems contrived. Like,
very true.
It doesn't seem like he's in there because he wants to be the world champion no more. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure he can get solid paydays, but even the paydays aren't as big as they used to be. Well, we're not hearing those figures that were flying about before. It's like Steve mentioned in the group chat earlier on. Remember 2010 is like Pacquiao couldn't have a fight without people knowing.
Like that was the big week. Yeah. Like, you know, if Pacquiao was going up against World Cup final, people would be like, oh, what, like, you know, sort of, this is the ultimate sporting week.
Yeah.
You know, it's Wimbledon final, it's World Cup final. There was no mention of a Pacquiao fight. You know, he's done. Like, do you know what I mean? It's over. He's a jobbing fighter now. He just travels around.
And it hurts.
Well, he's not like he's catching L's. Like Mike Tyson towards the end of his career.
Joe Thorne, he caught an L in his last fight.
And
silence.
Listen, I don't know what's going on with Top Rank. If they're bumping
Is he still with Top Rank? Is he still with
I believe so.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I know Freddie Roach wasn't there.
Yeah, no, he's got like...
Listen, man, I could never trust... What's his name? Michael Cons, I think it was called
dodgy. Whenever I see Advisor in boxing, I just think, dodgy fucker. All the time.
I remember seeing him. Remember like the old school 24/7 series. I used to look at him and I'm thinking... This guy's gonna make sure that Pacquiao doesn't have the money to retire.
No, he just had that vibe about him.
Yeah,
and like, I heard that like he dropped Freddie Roach. Like, and the whispers are is because he doesn't want to pay the money for a world class trainer.
Oh wow!
So he's just got Boo Boy, give him a few quid.
Oh yeah,
and it's just like keep the fees low for the camp.
Oh shit!
So you can maximise profit. He's at that stage of his career.
Oh, that is sad.
You know,
but how does it? I think they need to start doing documentaries of how it gets like this. Well, I know most people aren't going to be brave enough to speak about themselves in such a self-deprecating way. But that's different because he never reached the highest of highs.
Okay.
Mike Tyson's the only person to openly go like, listen, look, it went crap for me. this will happen. But that's from a 90s perspective.
I think
we need a more recent perspective of, listen, I came here, don't do this, don't do that, because I really do want to see the cycle be broken, because for me, I want to see, especially with combat sports as well, it's not like football where Gigi Buffon can, at his age, still go to... Man, he went from a top club like Juventus and went to PSG, but at 40 years old in football, that's possible.
Yeah.
In combat sports, unless you're, even though it's crossing sports, unless you're a freak athlete like you're Romero or Daniel Cormier, who are still fine at 40, but considering the fact that they didn't start a impact combat sports from early, so then they've got less damage on them.
A big part of it as well is the style in which you fight. So you've got B-Hop, you've got Mayweather, you've got GSP, crossing sports.
Yeah.
You know, those guys who fight very conservatively,
defensively
and defensively, and they don't take too much trauma throughout their career, they can extend their career a little bit. But the problem it comes down to is, I think we hear these fees that the boxers get for their fights. Yeah, so 40 million, 20 million, 10 million, wherever it is. Yeah. But that's not net pay.
Yeah,
you know.
that's
So
gross.
these fighters need to learn the difference between gross, revenue produced, all of these things that, you know. So they literally hear, like, boxers, you know, they fight. They're not accountants. They don't know this stuff. Yeah, and they get told, "Oh, you made £10 million for your last fight," and they're like, "Oh, great." But that's like looking at your pre-tax earnings at the start, at the end of a month, and living your life based on your pre-tax
Especially
earnings.
remember, you gotta pay the tax to fight in the country, especially if it's not your country that you're fighting in. So there's a higher
There's fees
tax.
that come out. There's trainer fees.
Yeah,
There's
10%
manager fees.
trainer
There's
fee,
promoter
management,
fees.
yeah.
You know, there's all sorts of fees. You've got, you know, you've got to pay for your camp. You've got to pay for sparring partners. You've got to fly those sparring partners in. You've got to rent the gym. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. There's a million things that needs to be paid for.
Yeah.
But they just hear £10 million. But what could be left at the end of that is £2 million.
Yeah. Oh, listen. Next thing you know, you go from you think you won 7 figures to getting 6.
Yeah, and then you spend 7 figures. Now you've got the IRS coming, and in America, the big problem that happens is that they pay tax sort of. Well, we do it here as well. So like, you know, you pay tax at the end of the tax year, or you know, and then they just don't do it. Like they say, Michael Kong says he'll do it, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot." And then, now you're fucked. Do you know what I mean?
And then
you find yourself 39 years old, weaving yourself down to the fucking ring. Come on, lads. You said it was
He lost a lot. He lost a few sponsorship deals, didn't he? He had a contract with Nike.
Yeah, he lost.
And I'm sure there's a few others as well.
He had like he had that Burger King. Well, I think he had a Burger King deal.
He had
I'm
the
not too sure
biggest
about Burger King.
sponsorship deals.
He had like loads of them.
And it was because of, you know, that controversial
Comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, like, you know, there's still a lot of big fights out there for him. I'd love to see him against Thurman, Khan, Crawford.
I think those.
He's in that Khan. I think for me, he's in that kind of Khan category where he's a big name and he's still an exciting fighter.
But you can't take none of the new boys.
But you like, there's a new breed. There's a new breed of welterweight out there. They're big, they're strong, they're killers. Yeah, but you'd still like to watch them fight, sort of like Khan and Pacquiao is a good fight because they're both big names.
Yeah,
and they're just below that top level guys.
Yeah.
Because if they go in against Errol Spence, what odds would you give them? What prediction would you make? Khan against Errol Spence, Pacquiao against Errol Spence. You wouldn't really give them much of a hope, and the bookies wouldn't either, and it wouldn't really sell that well because you don't have a competitive fight.
How do you think he'll do against Kell Brook?
I think Kell Brook will hurt him.
No, at 147, Kell Brook make that weight?
Well, he would do if he was to fight Khan.
Huh? Yeah, that's why I give him a chance against Khan. If they fought 154, I would say Kell Brook all day because Kell Brook's timing is the kryptonite for Amir Khan's speed.
Yeah.
But 147, the big sort of equaliser is that Kell Brook is a big boy. You know, you see him around, he's quite a chubby guy. And getting down to that weight is not easy for him.
Okay.
So it kind of equalises it for
him.
him.
What about this? So we've got Sean Porter against Danny Garcia. What about the winner of that fight? You know, fighting Pacquiao.
I think Danny Garcia is a bigger name. More because of his...
They both fought Matthysse.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Garcia against Pacquiao is a fun fight. That's a fun fight. But then,
like Danny Garcia, he fought a prime Matthysse.
Yeah. And
I thought Pacquiao yesterday did a cracking job on him.
But was that a prime Matthysse?
No way.
That was what 2013 when Garcia fought him.
Yeah, Matthisse's in the same boat.
And Matthysse was just
here for the paycheck.
Matthysse was just coming off like that. Like, you know, he was that destructive guy. He stopped Lamont Peterson in 3 rounds and like terrified the whole division. Do you remember Danny Garcia's face? iconic terror in his eyes, like, you know. And he used to, like, so, you know, Matthysse was a different guy, man. Different momentum in his career, different mentality towards the game. Now, you know, he's got a bag of shit record and fucking and he didn't look great. He didn't look good last night.
He looked awful.
Where was this fight held again?
Was it?
Where? It didn't look like America.
No, it wasn't America.
Yeah, it didn't look like.
I'm not actually too sure.
We don't even know anything about his Pacquiao fight. Like, literally,
I think Pacquiao's been doing a world tour.
He's doing one of those, like, you know, going to tax-free countries.
Well, he was Australia for the Jeff Horn fight, so
he's been Macau as well for.
Yeah, he's done a couple in Macau. I think it looked like it looked like a Macau type deal or somewhere like that. It didn't look like.
So it's a world tour then.
Yeah, it's a world tour.
Manny Pacquiao.
Sugar Ray Robinson won one of those in his career. Like, they all do it.
Listen, man, he used to bring the people to him. Now he has to go to the people. Not that there's nothing wrong with that, but obviously,
Eddie Hearn told a story once about how he contacted Aaron for the Kell Brook Pacquiao fight.
Yeah,
and then Bob Arum said, "Yeah, sure. How much do you want to pay us?" And Eddie Hearn was like, well, "You're the biggest fighter in the world. How much do you? We thought you were going to pay us to come over there." And they were in a position where neither fighter could generate the money to go. And Aaron was like, "No, we'll come to you." It's like,
hey, come London in a while.
Yeah. And it was just like, all right.
Oh, shit, that's
phone hung up, yeah. So that's where Pacquiao can't generate that money anymore. And it's just like, if you want Pacquiao on your name, on your resume, yeah, pay the money, you can have him for, you know, you'll get good terms on the contract.
I think Khan. Do you think Khan will be able to bring him to the UK?
Honestly, why not?
It's a good fight, man. Like,
on the Matchroom.
Yeah, like, come on, that does
you earn with Hearn.
Yeah, you earn with Hearn. That does any. Yeah, exactly. That does any of the big arenas in.
But I think they need to make that ASAP, because as much as Pacquiao's still a household name, he is getting older.
Yeah.
And before, as harsh as it sounds, before the big name totally fades away, Khan needs to be like, cool, let's make this fight now, because...
Well, he's gonna. I haven't looked at any of the comments this morning or anything like that, but I'm assuming that people are going to be gassing about the Pacquiao stopping Matthysse, because people know what they're looking at, and they just think, Matthysse is a good fighter, even though it looked nothing like the old Matthysse.
He's still a name. He's still got a name.
He's still a name, and you knocked out quite a big name there, and looked quite good. Yeah. To the people, like, you put him down 3 times and stopped him.
Yeah.
Light work. Yeah. Now someone needs to strike. You know. And I would like to see it be Khan, because I think that's still a competitive fight, a fun fight. Whereas I don't want to see someone like Errol, Spence or Thurman just get that name on their record and just do it a bit.
I don't think Pacquiao will take that fight.
Do a bit of a job on Pacquiao. That's just out of order, man.
As great as a lot of those.
Making it sound like Grandpa Simpson.
Mate, he's done, man. I don't like to see fighters go like that, man. It's sad, man.
The thing is, as big is like, I think we've mentioned this before in previous podcasts. It's like a lot of these American guys, they're not stars. At least with Khan is like, yo, he's a star big enough to say, Pacquiao, Khan, let's do this. Whereas Errol, Spence or Thurman or whoever, they're not big in it.
America's weird because, like, in this country, we need to make people household names for them to make that money, because we rely so much on ticket sales. Whereas in America, they just get so much cash from like TV deals.
Uncle Heyman.
Yeah, Uncle Heyman. You know, and it doesn't matter. Like, they don't need to be celebrities. Whereas we need to really sort of publicise them. And we've talked about this before. Like, you know, all of our famous boxers, you'll see them on the late night talk shows and things like that. Whereas you'll never see Errol Spence on Conan, not for another couple of years, probably.
Danny Garcia made a lot of money fighting people that weren't the top guys when he had the belts.
Yeah, yeah. And that boxing is more of a sort of, you know, a business. There we sell boxing matches, whereas here we sell names. We have big names and people come out because they're an attraction.
Yeah.
And Pacquiao would be far better off fighting someone like that, a celebrity, than, you know, a fucking really good boxer who's at the top of his game, and that's why he gets the money. He gets money because he gets paid to be a world champion, like elite level boxer. Whereas in this country, we just pay like people we like to do a bit of boxing.
We got Amir Khan fighting Samuel Vargas.
Yeah,
that's
is that done deal now?
No, that's happening. So that's next month.
And what venue is that gonna? That's gonna sell out the. Where is that fight? It's at one of the big arenas, you know. And it's like Amir Khan against Vargas, like Samuel Vargas.
That's a prime example of what you were saying. You know, Amir Khan's a big enough name that
he'll sell 20,000 tickets. Yeah, you know.
Look at his last fight
against Phil Greco. He sold 11,000 tickets.
Yeah.
You know, Whereas, like, if you
And that's coming off a scary loss to Canelo.
Phil LaGreco against Keith Thurman. Yeah, exactly. For a comeback fight, he done 11,000 tickets. Spence and Thurman couldn't do 11,000 tickets on the same card. Do you know what I mean? So if I was Pacquiao, I would be looking at the UK thinking,
I'd make it quick because if he has another loss on his record, then that's more like glimmer off of his name.
And also, like,
got a lot of history as well.
They've got the history from
That's
the
why
same
they
camp.
need to build it.
They've nearly fought before. Amir Khan's not a killer like that. Do you know what I mean? He's really fast and he looked good in his last fight, but I think that was flattering. He's never been like, you know, a killer puncher.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, if you're Pacquiao, you're thinking, do I really want to get in there with one of these big fucking welterweights who can really punch? Like, but no, he looked good. And like I say, he's got something to give. He's got something left to give, but just don't want to see him go out of that, man. So it's David Hay all over again, man.
Let's not go with
go into like getting beat by someone who like 5 years ago would have learned. It would have been a joke fight to make that fight, and you know,
it is what it is.
Get your money boxers and make sure you get the right financial advisors.
And then run away from Michael Conks.
He's trouble.
He's trouble.
Alright, lads. Parker Whyte.
Oh,
July 28th is the big one. For me, it's the biggest heavyweight contest outside the potential bout between Wilder and Joshua. So yeah, Dilian Argos Whyte, Joseph Parker, who takes it?
I heard you're blowing the weigh-in profits on ringside seats to that fight. Oh, he's blushing. Michael Conks.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, I can't wait for that fight. I'm actually buzzing for it.
Nah, it's a cracking fight. It's I don't know who's gonna win, man. Because like, if it was on neutral territory, neutral venue, I think I'd go with Parker because he's bigger. I think he's got a better resume, and I think his style of boxing, I've just seen more from him.
Yeah.
But like you said, you earn with Hearn and you win with Hearn. You know.
I like that one.
It's all very. I can never pick against an Eddie Hearn fighter, like on an Eddie Hearn card. I can't do that.
I can see this guy in the distance.
Yeah, and I feel like I like Whyte, and I don't think Whyte would rob a fight. I don't think he would rig a fight. He's a fighter through and through, that guy.
But the team around him.
Yeah, but like, you know, and they're building a style. They've got to do what they got to do, and Eddie Hearn will not let him lose. And Whyte is a fucking killer fight. Like him against Lucas Brown in his last fight, fucking sensational. Man.
Again, you can argue Brown was shocking.
That night. He was fat.
You still got to finish your food. You still have to finish your food.
No, and also he didn't rush his work, and he was controlled, he was patient, and he ground him down.
Yeah.
But Lucas Brown was fat as fuck. He was like, he was like, I followed his Instagram thing on like his training because like, you know, I was following the fight.
Brown or Whyte?
Brown.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm doing so much training, I'm lifting so much and stuff. Like, and he weighed himself at the start of the camp. And he gained weight through the camp. It's embarrassing. Oh, mate. Absolutely embarrassing. Like, he's like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
What's happening between him and Ricky Hatton?
Ooh,
it's a bit of an awkward one, isn't it?
It's awkward.
You got to fill me in. I don't know about this.
So, again, classic Michael Conk situation. So, basically, he's come out like this goes to show you that, you know, when you look at managers, like, you think they'd be in contact all the time, innit?
Yeah.
He turns up to the UK. And this is the first time Ricky Hatton's heard from him in like all year. Yeah, he doesn't know anything about his camp. And Ricky Hatton was like, "Oh my god, look at the size of him." And then pretty much said, like, in all the pre-match interviews, like, he just kind of sold him down the river. He's just like, well, he doesn't look in great shape, so I don't know how he can punch and maybe he'll knock out Whyte, but he doesn't look in any sort of shape to fight.
Is he still his who's
he was his like manager / promoter?
Yeah, who's Ricky Hatton promoting now then, or is it no one big on the scene that he's promoting right now? Is it all up and comers basically?
Yeah, pretty much. I think he's got like more in strength. He's got that Nathan Gorman guy who's supposed to fight thing. So yeah, a couple of up and comers. But anyway, so he's pretty like, that's not what you need from your promoter on fight week, is it? Like, God, he doesn't look in any sort of shape. He's got a puncher's chance. Maybe he can do it. That's kind of what he was saying. And then afterwards, after the fight, didn't go see him after he lost, and was just like, yeah, he just turned up for the money. Like,
did you see that video, Brown put up?
Yeah.
That was so cringe.
He's that guy.
It was like, Ricky, I've been trying to get hold of you. Let's put this video out there so that you can. Just wondering as to why you're not returning my calls.
The social media generation.
It's like standing.
It's brutal. I've written to you twice already.
Mr. I'm too good. Yeah, that's a bit. Do you remember the press conference with Dilian Whyte as well, where he insulted me. He said that I still live with my mum. It's like, I had some financial issues. I was living with my mum, trying my best. And Dilian Whyte's just creasing. He's just like, shout out, you loser.
Cry me a river.
The game is cold, man. The
game's cold, man. You don't want to get like, oh man, yeah, that was a strike. Like, you got murked at the press conference and you got murked in the ring.
Yeah, happens, man.
Let's talk Parker. Parker, brilliant on the jab, durable. We've seen him go 12 rounds. He's got the speeds and shows fantastic movement. What does Whyte bring to the table?
Whyte brings so
probably all of that.
Very similar. I think Whyte's a bigger puncher, and I think they both love a fight. I'll say that Parker's got a better chin. Shockingly, like Dilian Whyte took a little slap off of Hellenius of all people. And the whites of his eyes and his legs buckled.
That's the Viking right there.
That's the Viking warrior, you know. But then he took a slap off Chisora as well. Chisora's not a puncher, and again legs buckled and he's sort of all over the show. So there's that kind of chinniness to Whyte that people don't, because he's marketed himself as this kind of broader, and he is a fighter. He's a very he's a tough guy who likes to fight. But getting chinned is a different thing. It's not about being tough. If he could get up, he would get up. But getting chinned is like a disconnect of oxygen to your brain, and you can't help that.
Yeah.
So he's got that in him. Whereas Parker has taken shots off of all sorts of people and never been buckled. And
rolls with a punch.
And also he's very good at rolling shots as well. He reads the game very well. He sees shots coming. So you know that's a big part of it. I think the fight will come down to fitness. To be honest, like you said, they're very similar fighters. Yeah, in terms of what you just talked about. But the fight will come down to who's fitter on the night.
Yeah.
Who's had a better camp and who can go to rounds. We've seen Parker go to rounds how many times?
Exactly.
And take over fights.
Whyte's been improving though.
I think
whereas Whyte has been improved.
I think he might rope it open.
So Whyte has shown a bit of a poor engine in the past against Joshua, against Chisora, but he's improved a lot. And like we said before, he's gone up to Loughborough. He started doing scientific approaches to his training rather than just being on road with his big brother, like flipping tires and whatever he was doing before. He's actually sort of taking it serious, measuring all the things he's doing. But we never got to see that against Lucas Brown. So I don't know. It's such an intriguing fight, but Parker's bigger as well. Parker's a little bit bigger. So.
Where does the winner go from this fight?
The winner has written himself a blank check for whatever he wants to do in the division, because it's an eliminator to fight Joshua for the WBO.
Yeah.
So that's the money fight you would want. Deontay Wilder, you could get the Deontay Wilder fight there. And then you could Fury might come and knock in, and Frank Warren might put his hand in his pocket and say, you're the third guy in the division. If Fury can do a job on you, because Joshua's fought both of these guys, particularly Parker, because you've got the storyline with he beat his cousin and stuff.
Yeah.
If
spicing up, isn't it?
Spicing up, and also he went 12 rounds with Joshua. So if Fury can get rid of him quicker, when Fury gets his fitness back, that would be, if Fury stopped Parker, if he could manage to do it, that would set up Fury could then say, I told you you're a bum.
I think get it on. One great thing about these potential fights as well is that once again, they don't need belts for this to be promoted. So then Joshua and Wilder can still keep their belts intact for their big massive fight. And at the same time, whether it is Fury and Parker or Fury and Whyte, is a situation of more pride on the line and just saying, who's got the bigger balls, basically.
People's champ.
Yeah, that's what it is for the people's champ. And then once you become the people's champ, then you can contend with the Wilders and Joshuas and say, listen, the people are calling me to take your neck. So
100%. Also, this fight is good because it creates, because the loser will need to go somewhere. So it puts a top heavyweight fighter in a position where he has to take good fights. He can't just wait around. So off the back of that, just say Dilian Whyte loses, he'll have to go and fight Fury for quite cheap after that because he's got nowhere else to go. So or maybe Hugh Fury or someone.
What about Chisora? Let's just say Chisora beats Takam.
He throws his name in there. I think he still needs one more big fight against someone. But
if he turned over Takam,
I'll be over that.
Sir Dale, man, come on, man. Straight back in there.
the cult following, the Donkey King himself.
Yeah, the Donkey Killer, man. Yeah,
the banter between the two of them is fucking... I won't even say it's banter.
Well, even after the last Joshua fight, him and Whyte and Chisora had a bit of an altercation. And I think they're just combustible like that. And I think if Chisora does get a win, he's the dark horse in that. he throws his name.
That's one of those fights that will always be there because it was the build up was fucking world class, like legendary build up, and then the fight matched it. It was such a good fight. So it's kind of like James DeGale against George Groves. Like no matter what they do in their career, you'd always just kind of go, "Oh, the rivalry. I'll watch that." Do you know what I mean? It's like because that was so much banter back in the day. The build up was worth it, and it will probably be it'll always be quite a good scrap because they gelled, particularly Delbo and Dilian.
What was the headline? It was Molina, wasn't it? It was Molina Joshua.
Yeah, like no one was watching that. You can't remember who it was. No one wanted to see that shit. Right?
Where's on the side note? When is Groves back? Is it September?
Yeah, September. Callum Smith. Do you know where they're having that fight?
Where?
Where are they having that fight?
Oh, come on!
It can't be Copperbox, is it?
No, it's not. It's in bloody Saudi Arabia. I think.
For fuck's sake!
Oh my!
Somewhere like that.
The all British fight carried out in Saudi Arabia.
Come on!
You're a scouser in Saudi Arabia. No one needs to see that shit.
I was like getting expecting to buy tickets for that, but
I think there'll be a lot of tickets available.
Oh, right.
So if you want them,
that is tragic. That.
But it's so random. Like, what are they doing?
Go for it.
I want to say a special shout out to Mike Saki.
Well done, bro.
If you haven't seen this fight, you need to tune in. I believe it's on IFL TV. Search Mike Saki, Sakyi. He captured the Southern Area super lightweight title. He put in a shift. It was a war. He went nearly all the 10 rounds. And then he rallied up and got the KO in the 10th round. And man, it was a fight. A lot of the top boxing prospects were in the front row to see the greatness in action. So Okoli was there, so was Whyte, and it was just, man, it was a thriller of a fight. And then a lot of plaudits were like giving Mike his credit. So if you can, tune in to Mike Saki and watch the journey from here.
Yeah, I got to say, it looked like a brilliant night, and it's probably the best left hook I've seen all year. Disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting.
Great. Where can everyone follow Mike?
I think Mike Saki on Instagram, so that's MikeSakyi. So give him a search, whether on YouTube or Instagram. Follow the journey and tune in, because that's a very top British prospect that I've seen come through the ranks this year, and his big news is going to come from him soon.
I say we've plugged him on the show a couple of times now, I think, and it's good to see him finally getting the plaudits. He's got interviews on IFL, and like you say, Josh Batsy celebrating the fighters. It's good to hear.
Fun times ahead. All right, cool. That's all, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Like, subscribe, all of that. Peace.
See you later, people.
Take it easy.